Yo, what's up, boys? This is a full breakdown on how to use my software, the Real Venture Studio, to underwrite your deals, connect with buyers, generate contracts, and actually get your deals closed. And some quick context if you don't know much about me, my name is William Lynch. I've wholesaled over 100 deals nationwide, and I have mentored 250 students and counting. In my first 8 months of starting wholesaling, I was not able to close a single deal, and that's what forced me to flip this whole process to buyers first and secured wholesaling, and this software is that process into a tool. First things first, I'm just going to give you the overview so you can see everything that's inside. Then I'm going to take a real deal off of Zillow, comp it, run it through all the features so you can see exactly what the tool actually does. By the end, you'll know exactly how to work this yourself. All right, so let's just jump straight into it. This is the homepage. This is where you will be pasting in the Zillow link to analyze your deals. We'll get to this in a second. You have the dashboard, which explains your tasks, what you need to do, and when you just load into the site, it'll have all the stages so you kind of have clarity on all of your next steps. Second thing here is the deals section. So this is where you will have all of your deals. You can see I have 53 deals loaded on this account. It'll give you the pictures. It'll give you any information. The notes on this one, I just put fire deal as an example, but you'll have notes about the property here. It'll have the estimated after repair value. So this is once the property is repaired to the standards of a rental, it is estimated to be worth $137,000. It can also estimate the repairs here, your assignment fee, and gives you the max allowable offer that you can make to the seller. So it'll be a good deal for Real Ventures buyers or just any buyers that are looking for wholesale deals. You get an on-market script in here, an off-market script as well, a text template that you can just send over to the seller or the agent for this property, and also show you your buyer matches. The cool part about the Real Venture Studio is it has 24 cities with buyers that are actively wanting your deals. So this deal, if you get it at this price, it will match Real Ventures Detroit Buyers Group. Speaking of buyers, this is the buyers tab where you can see the 24 cities. You can just scroll down here and see every price range, the closing timeline, the after repair value, the beds and baths, if they are interested in cash or seller financing, and the hottest markets that deals have had the most success in. Next feature here that I personally love is the contract generation feature. This is where you can just answer the seller's information, the buyer's information, the property, and the deal terms, any additional terms as well. Click this button here and generate contract, and it will automatically spit out a legal document that you can upload into DocuSign, sign the contract, and send it off to the seller to get it signed. Of course, I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice, but these are the contracts that I have used and my students have used, and we've had no issues with them. The next tool here is the pipeline, which is similar to Go High Level. If you're familiar with that, it's just a CRM, which is to keep track of your leads. You start here with leads, reached out, negotiating, under contract, sent to buyer, buyer walk through title, and then you can move it over to deal closed and also deal dead. So this is really helpful for you to keep track of all your leads so you know who to follow up with, who has potential for being a deal, and you can also see all the potential money that you've closed or you have in the pipeline. All right, so now I'm going to take an actual Zillow listing. This is what you would be doing if you were trying to find a deal on Zillow and analyzing it. And we can run through all the features so you can see exactly how they work. So this is a real deal that my student Dylan just closed on today. As of filming this, 6/9/2026, my student Dylan just closed on this deal. We got it sold for him and he got paid out today. It says active under contract because the realtor hasn't updated it yet, but it closed today. I'll show you exactly how he did it. He went into Granite City. He was searching for sale up to 350K, and there were 86 results. This is a really small little area. So there's not a lot, but he was able to click on one of these properties, look through the pictures, and then he would comp it to see if it was undervalued based on the properties nearby. You can also see, for example, if you were to type in Detroit, there would be 2,500. So it's all about the different markets, and out of those 24 cities, there is tens of thousands of potential deals. So once a student found this deal on Zillow, he took the address, he popped it into the deal analyzer, clicked Analyze Deal. From here, he put in the asking price that the seller wanted. That is just from Zillow right here, that $98,000. Next, it was cash offer or creative offer. Creative offer is seller financing or subject to. You can always ask me if you're one of my students asking me about creative financing, how to do it, how to run it. It was actually one of the first deals I closed was a seller financing. So it is possible to close seller financing deals, but I do recommend just starting with cash when you are starting out. Next, you put in the comps. We also have an AI auto comp feature where you can just auto-fill these comps. But to be honest, I strongly recommend just doing them yourself. It's really good to learn the process and you will always have better results. At the end of the day, no matter how good you make AI, a human doing comping is just better as of right now. So there are 5 comps to put into this property. A comp is something that is a comparable house that is close to the condition and size of our subject property. Subject property being the one that we found on Zillow. So how do you actually find the comps for a property? You go to your subject property here, you right click, you press duplicate, it'll make 2 of these Zillow tabs. You click off here to the side, wait for it to load for a second. You go to the sold section. So now instead of for sale, we're looking at sold properties. Click apply, make sure there's no range on the prices. Beds and baths can be any. And then property type, you want to make sure it's just houses. So it'll automatically start with all of them in here, but you want to make sure it's just houses. Click apply, and then here we're going to have two filters. You want the square footage to be give or take 250 on each side. So you see here, it's 1400. We can go about 1000 to 1500. You could potentially do 1250 to 1500, but I want it to be a big enough range where there's going to be some comps nearby. It's not a perfect science, but you just want to get as close to the subject as possible. Next thing here, you're going to go sold in the last 12 months. You're going to click apply, and then don't even drag around. Just spam this plus button, and it'll take you right to where the property is. You can see we're on Johnson Road, and this one is 1530 Johnson Road. You can also come down here and cross-reference just to make sure that it's right. Yep, as you can see, if we scroll out here a bit, this looks exactly like how ours is here. So the property is right here, which means all these little yellow dots here are our comps. These are the comparable properties nearby. So honestly, just eyeballing this, you can tell that this deal already has potential. Our house is right about here, so we want to click the closest 5 comps and pick those to compare our property towards. And you can tell if a deal is going to be shit or if it has potential in, to be honest, like the first 10 or 15 seconds of opening the sold section on Zillow. And the reason why this one has potential is all these yellow circles are the houses that sold recently, and they are all significantly higher priced than ours is listed for. So now let's take the 5 closest comps and put them into the Realtor Studio. First things first, I'll just go right here. We have 129 one. I will take the address right here, paste it, take the sale price, paste that, and take the square footage right here and paste it here. I'm not going to make you look at all the 5 that I'm going to put in, but I'll be right back. All right, as you can see, I clicked the closest 5 comps all right here. I took all of these, I pasted them into the Realtor Studio with the address, the sale price, and the square footage, and next thing, we click continue. Now, this is the rehab cost estimator. This is really important, and we're actually implementing AI to be able to look at the photos of these properties, but for now, it's best for you to just pick which one matches the property best. And to see this, we just go back to here. So we can check on the photos. And our 5 options are turnkey, which means move-in ready, minimal cosmetic touch-ups, light, which is paint, flooring, fixtures, minor cosmetic. To be honest, most properties that you're like, okay, someone could live there are just going to be light. Medium means, kitchen, bath updates, some systems. Heavy is like full gut, and then super heavy is like down to the studs, full-on renovation, which, you can see the price estimate for each of them. It scales very quickly. So the next thing is to check out the photos on the property itself. So I'll just scroll through this live with you. We can tell someone's living in it currently. I don't know if this deal was owner occupied or was a tenant. But you can tell it's livable, but it's also not like a nice property. This is one that I would probably put as medium. And reason behind that is you can just tell like the garage, all this stuff's like falling from the ceiling. And it's like, you need to know that, buyers are liars and sellers are worse. That's what people say. And that's because in real estate, when the realtors are taking these pictures, they're trying to make it look as good as possible. And so if they're showing, this much bullshit on the pictures they're showing, there's probably a lot more worse things that they're not showing on the pictures. So it's best just to be safe, especially when you're making offers, because, you can go up a little bit on your offer, but you can't really go back down once they already agree to it. So this is, I would say, a medium rehab. So we'll click medium, which is the estimated cost of $35. Click continue here, and it gives us our maximum allowable offer. So this has the repair estimate, the assignment fee, and gives you the MAO. You can edit the repairs a bit if you need, and you can also edit the assignment fee. Our student actually got this deal under contract at $72,000, so you can see that it was just a little bit above the maximum allowable offer, and for that, we needed to change the assignment fee to $6,000. But he got this at $72,000. It was a $6,000 assignment fee, and we were able to get him paid out and get this deal locked up. Once you have your maximum allowable offer, you have the correct repairs, and you have your assignment fee, you click Save This Deal. It'll go onto your Deals tab, and now you have the on-market script, the off-market script, the text templates, buyer matches, and all of that. And most importantly, your maximum allowable offer, so you know exactly what you need to offer the seller. This was an on-market deal specifically, so he clicked this on-market button, and he introduced himself, asked about the condition, if it was vacant or tenanted, and then he ended the call. He then offered $72,000. He went into the contract generation tool. He entered in all his information. It spit out a legal document. He sent it over to the seller. He got it signed, and we assigned it to the buyer. And 30 days later, it was a $6,000 assignment. assignment fee. This deal is the student's 4th deal they've closed with us, and they actually have 2 other deals that are under contract with other buyers currently, meaning that he's about to close on his 5th and 6th deal, and he knew nothing about real estate about 7 or 8 months ago. That is proof how fast you can go from a complete beginner to honestly an expert closing multiple deals per month when you just have the right systems and the right mentor in place. If you're interested in getting one-on-one access to me and access to the Realtor Studio and this tool, as well as my community and all the tools and buyers that come with that, there is a link in the description of this video that you can fill out and apply, and I'll reach out within 10 or 15 minutes to see if it'd be a good fit. I appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll see you on the other side.